Listen, all I'll say to you to answer that question on consistency is the coach isn't truly here. Let's
I'm
just
back.
see. We've got him back, but I'm going to dive in and I think answer it. So just to summarize so far, we've got legs, holistic approach to power, then the correct sequence. But I think we've kind of answered this consistency thing. It's got to come to your practice. And if I look at the best players on an amateur level at a golf club that I'm at, and then I look at the best tour players, the tour players have their drills that they go to maintain consistency. The best amateur players at the club have their drills that they go to maintain consistency. They try not to dive too deep into video cameras and launch monitors unless they need to. Now, I think for me, I've seen the best in the world using video cameras and launch monitors weekly, whether they're playing well or not. Chrissy Ryan's covered that when it comes to Foley playing great and Rose playing great and Foley asking for video. I get it. I like the analogy of hands on the wheel, stuff like that. I think consistency comes with confidence. And I think consistency for me comes with knowing that your clubs are set up right, your preparation's been right, your mental game's in a good place, your routine is the same when you turn up to the golf course. You have the confidence that the data shows you're on point and you've done the work. If you've not done the work and you've not got the history of doing the work, you can't all of a sudden just bowl up and have it one day. Like for me, playing well at the weekend comes from having a couple of decent 9-hole games in the week, and maybe you do a bit of chipping practice and the ball goes where you want it. You hit your land spots. You might misread them, but your routine is clean. It's having a couple of clean practice laps in a car before you go and do the qualifier. That's where the consistency comes, always being on point, not going out and having a tear up and having a few drinks and then expecting to perform the day after. That's not consistently what you do. We've got him back with his Tim Pot internet, so I guess he can go for it.
I mean, look, consistency is something that, look, it gets asked almost every lesson. You know, like I want to be more consistent, but I think people misinterpret their golf and they think they're better than they are. So what they might say to me is they might say, look, I want to be more consistent because last week the front nine I played in 3 over. It was great. And the back nine was 12 over. So they see that as inconsistent. But it's not inconsistent. That's just golf. And I'd always say, my analogy, I love analogies, would be if you gave me a coin and you asked me to toss that coin 100 times, what would I predict? Well, I would predict 50 heads, 50 tails. That's my best guess because it's a 50-50 chance. But if I did it, I'm not going to go head, tail, head, tail, head, tail. I might have a run of 6 heads, but then I might have a run of 7 tails. And the way I say to golfers, look, you're going to have some good holes and some bad holes. That is your golf game. Just because you strung 9 together, that doesn't mean you should be at that level forever. That just means you've thrown 5 heads in a row. And it's just golf. Golf is a random sport where there's lots that go into it. The lie of the land, you've got the strike, you've got the way you feel when you wake up in the morning, you've got how much sleep you had, you know, whether the guy's out there with a trumpet at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. All these things come into it. But just because you play 9 holes, 5 shots better than your handicap, don't think that's the level you should be at. Because it's not. It's just the random nature of golf that you happen to have had 9 good holes in a row. People never say, they always say, I should be off 5 because I played the front 95 over. They never say, I should be off 25 because I played the back 9 in loads over. It is a myth. You know, you've just got to ultimately get better at golf. If you get better at golf, your scores will come down. Just think of it as that way.
I think there's a lot of the Rotella stuff in there, isn't there? Like, you got to think... You got to think like a champion both ways. Like if you 3-putt, you got to be going the next going, well, I mean, I never 3-putt. So that's the way of the ground or the rub of the green going against me. I'm now going to have 10 1-putts. And then if you have 10 1-putts, you got to think, well, I've just had 10 1-putts. I'm going to have 15 now. And I think that is, you can have it all. Like having been around athletes quite a bit, they believe they can have it all. And I think that the more you believe that, and I think one of the things that when I look back at like when I was younger, it would be like I didn't need to be in form to feel like I was going to play well. And something that I've highlighted here is obsession with the target. And I think when I was younger, I was obsessed with the target. And I think when I've gone out and played with Darryl in the last 2 years, he had a spell there where, truth be told, he was horrendous. And in these last 2 years, he's been better than what I expected, because I think he's got to a stage where he's just like, this is going to be what it's going to be. And I'm not going to let it impact me and how I can be. And if this ball goes where I want it to aim, then I'm going to be taking that in a good place. And if it doesn't, I'm going to be taking that in a good place. And I think that's made him a higher level of player. Yeah, there's a couple of things like technique wise and stuff, but I think he's like, it is what it is, and very acceptant of it. And I think that that's very hard to do. And I think that if you look at like my golf recently, and I'm sure others out there will be the same, you go through the front nine and be 3 over and be acceptant that you're not going to shoot 66. And then you come back in 3 or 4 under. And I think the only reason you shoot 3 or 4 under on the back is because you become acceptant that on that day, you're not going to shoot 7 under. And I think that it's having that mindset and learning it again constantly. One of the things that I want to raise as we move to a close here is, and it's really how we got on tendencies versus myths. Because I said to you, the myth of shallow, and you sort of dived in and said tendency of shallow. You can talk about it in chipping, or you can talk about it in long game. But there's a lot that's out there now on shallowing the golf club. Like if you make a YouTube video and you talk about shallowing, everyone dives on that, and it generally does quite well.